Hey. I'm gonna have to get. Never mind. Part of me wants to be like, let me know if you can hear me. There's nobody here. Okay, but for my own reasoning, I shire. Um, this is me starting off. This is what the plan is. I was going to put on something. Okay, perfect. You hear me? You hear me? I was gonna put on like some kind of show, but I can't think of anything right now. This is what we're working with so far. We're just doing a retwist. Simple retwist. I do have a mirror, but I'm going off of faith. So this is, can you even... This is what we got so far. Top rowish. A little bit of bottom. I am already hungry. So I'm going to try to get through as much as I can before I decide to take a little snack break. But what do you feel like listening to in the background? I'm thinking Archer. I'm thinking I'm going off of Netflix, so the options are limited. But I am going to do like an update too. I need to do an update. Now that I realize I am more public, I should be more wary about my updates. But for the most part, nothing crazy, just working. I was looking to move out soon, but that got changed. There was this one place I wanted to do like a little story time. I'm gonna do like a little story time and hair care of one of these apartments that I was looking at that I chose no on. That was my decision. Versus no. So I wanted to. There was like this apartment that I saw that I didn't really like, and there was an apartment that I really liked that said no to me. So I need to do some extra steps in regards to making sure I can actually get the apartments that I want. I gotta talk to my credit place. I gotta talk to people. I'm not super excited about that. But she's gonna get her done. I'm thinking about a lower angle, just so then... But maybe this is fine, because I'm gonna be doing this anyway. Alright. So, I broke this earlier. So, I'm just gonna use this. But it was already kind of broken anyway, because the spray is not... I'm not gonna say not effective, because it gets it out, but it takes forever to really stop. And I don't think that's by design. It's supposed to come out slow, but then it has like these dribbles and it's just still going, and I'm like, this is supposed to be more misty than whatever I'm dealing with. I'm thinking to actually just put on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because I've seen it a million times. I've seen it twice. But it's not that serious to me. It's just crazy. But I'm also watching it with somebody, so maybe I want to put on something that's not as distracting, but something that still keeps me motivated. So let's just start about the apartment. because all the updates that I got going on, I'm like, the the aiming to be at the apartment is a conversation in of itself. But I'm still at where I'm at. Um, but the one that I saw that I was just like, no. I didn't even, girl. So basically, it's not too far. It's like in my downtown area. Um, I went to go see it with somebody that wasn't family. So I wasn't too, I wasn't even sure about if I was going to really get it, because I'm just like, you know, whatever. I was waiting for them to get there because I got there first from seeing a different property by my one-some. What I'm doing too, because I got a lot of webbing that is just like, I don't know. I don't know if that helped. Um, I got a lot of webbing, so what I'm doing, if it doesn't feel like it's like a part of my scalp, I guess, like something like this, you cannot see it, like you can barely see it. But I'm just, if it comes loose from something else, then that's fine. I'm just gonna wrap it back up anyway. But, or at least I hope I can, because that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing anyway. I got some lock gel. Not sponsored. I don't know why it would be. I don't know why you think it would be. At least right now. Later in my career, maybe. But, yeah, so the apartment was there. I was waiting on somebody. And I was just like, and I was early. I was early, mind you, like 20 minutes early, maybe. So, at least 10 to 15 minutes early. Trying to make sure I'm going in the right direction. Okay. So, I'm there like 20 minutes early. I don't even bother with the gates because I'm just like, I'm not even in a position to really start seeing the apartment right now anyway. So, I'm talking with the person I'm meeting up with, but we're having like connection issues anyway, so that was just like, all right, I'll see them when I see them. They know where it is. They might be a few minutes late, but I'll eat my sandwich in the meantime, and I'll just be chill. So I'm like, all right, what's it called? I don't even want to put the place on blast because I have my own preconceived notions about it because I'm familiar with it from someone else. So I'm just like, once I found out where it was, I'm just like, unless they did some really great changes in here, I'm not really banking on it. And I'm not even going to say by the looks of it. It's more like by the vibe. By the vibe. First off, I'm there a few minutes early, and I'm about to just let them know, eat a sandwich. Apparently, that's the thing about these apartments, too. Once you text somebody, it's not really them. It's like a bot. I guess that's efficient for y'all, but it is a bad first impression. I understand that you're trying to be efficient, but if I genuinely can't get in touch with anybody for realsies until I'm physically there, it's kind of... I'm like, not even to say that I'm on my way, not to say anything, not to... any questions for real. Like, yeah, through email, but... And I get it, but it's just like, okay, well... But also on top of that, just the vibe was off. And that's fair enough, and I think that was more protection regardless. Essentially, it gets to being like 10 minutes or so before I have to basically say, hey, I'm ready for my appointment. So I'm letting my person know. They still haven't responded, but that's because of technical difficulties that we already went through, discussed, you know. Oh, speaking of which, I need to do something. And they essentially, I was like 10 minutes early. I try to open the door. I go up to the door and I try to open it, and it's locked. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they're out to lunch or something. Someone comes up to the door though, and they're just like, they like buzz it or something. And I'm like, this is the leasing office, right? And I don't know about y'all, but that's already a bad vibe to me. Your leasing office is either locked up or just you, like, it's one thing to have a key card, but a key card to get in the leasing office? Huh? 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 And mind you, I get why the leasing office was outside of their gate, but hello? Huh? I don't know. So basically, I'm like, that's one thing about, anyway, that's one, it says to me one thing about the area, but also just one thing about y'all's security. Because you can have like a sketchy area, but it's also like, is this for the residents too? Like, is this for the residents too? Are you trying to protect against the residents for sure, or the area itself? Where's your security for real? How serious is this? So that was just my first impression off rip. Me just being early and being like, all right, well, I haven't heard from them. I'll just walk up. And then being like, this shit is locked. And they're just like, hey, what you here for? I'm just like, oh, I'm here. I have like a 1 p.m. or something. I don't remember the time. It was just something. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'm waiting on somebody though, just to see the place. And the person was like, okay. I guess it wasn't them showing me the unit. I'm like figuring this out. I guess it wasn't them showing me the unit, so they were just gonna tell me to wait in the lobby of the leasing office, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, all right. And mind you, I'm still like 10 minutes early. I don't know what's up with these, because that's another story time. That's another story time where I'm just like, is there something going on where y'all are just not worried about these motherfuckers getting the units? I understand that, there's always going to be somebody looking for a home. But I don't know about y'all, but y'all don't make it want to. It's one thing if the place is run down already. If the management sucks, if the people who I'm about to already, like, just show me the apartment is ready for me to fucking leave, freaking leave, then yeah, I'm not gonna feel compelled to want to stay there. Like, you're not even. I can't imagine how much time you don't actually give to the people who live here. So that's a sign in of itself for me. And that's not even on like, oh, you guys are busy and you're not giving me time. It's just your general attitude towards me. The first person who let me in the door was cool enough. They were just like, all right, yeah, you can just sit right here. I'm like, thank you. I guess the person who was actually going to show me it, she showed up. And I should say they, but whatever. And that's not even on like, oh, what's there? Like, no, shit, I can tell. She was not worried about my doing that. She was worried about why the hell I was in there. And I was just like, oh, I'm here, but I'm waiting on somebody. And she's like, I could hear her muttering something under her breath, and I'm not sure if that was for me or not, so I don't even know if I want to repeat it. But I got the vibe of just like, wasting my time already. I'm just like, man, I hope that's not me, because I'm early. But even then, this was like 5 minutes now. 5 minutes to the appointment. But yeah, you'd want to be early, but if it gets to my appointment time, then I'm not going to be too pressed about like, okay, yeah, I'll just talk to them about it later, or just, yeah, I'll just take it. I'll miss them, whatever, but it's my appointment, so I'll just do it. I'll just do it, talk about it later, at least I'm on time, yada, yada, yada. If I'm not on time, that's something else, but if it's not me, then, it's whatever. I'll make it work. But essentially, I guess she's waiting on somebody else. She's going through her own motions at her own job. And she's just like, all right, well, I'm doing something with somebody. If, I guess when your person shows up, I don't know. She made it seem like she's not also about to leave me here and just do something else. But I think she like rarely she like it was very how dare you kind of thing. And that's not the first time I got the vibe of that when I'm at this isn't even like like I don't know if it's a chain or anything like that. It's just the concept of these leasing agents are not that like yeah, I'm glad you're getting your money however you find it, but you're still losing clients. I'm like you're still losing clients whether or not it's like oh you have your own like assumptions about them, you're still losing clients. If I decided that I didn't want that one but I still wanted to work with you, but that's all depends on your freaking attitude. So she basically was just like I'm gonna go deal with this, and I guess when your person shows up, and I'm like yeah, I mean I got 5 minutes. It's not like they're that far, I presume. They're really not. But even then, um, yeah, I'm just like 5 minutes. And then like some other person, oh, well, that was when they actually showed up. But like you could have said anything else. Like, meet me here, we'll do this, I'll come back in this. But it was just leave me there in the office. I'm like, okay, cool, bye. See you in 5, I guess. See you in 5 minutes, I guess, because it's still my appointment time that I told her about, the whole shebang. Um, and I was just like, okay, well, I'll just call them. I'll just see where they're at. And which was perfect timing, basically, because I think they just pulled up. And either that or 5 minutes after. Now, that's the thing. It was either 5 minutes till and then she left. And then someone else came in. Someone else came in and was just like, hello. And I was just like, hi. I'm like, I'm like the person who let me in initially gave them the rundown and was just like, yeah, so they're sitting here, don't worry about it, but also, you know, it seems like there was some other kind of air in the office where there was definitely a group chat that needed to be whatever, but regardless, even just the way that person walked into the room and treated me was already different, regardless of whatever. I want to say she too. It was a bunch of ladies. They were in their attire, but I don't know their pronouns for real. But it was professional looking ladies. Let's just say that. Let's just say there were some people that look very professional and very feminine. But basically, yeah, I'm like, she came in and she was like, all right, okay, I'll just sit down. And then when the first person left, she started talking to me a little bit more, unlike the actual person I was with. And at this point now, I'm like, my appointment's either happening or will happen in like a few minutes. And she was just like, all right, so what room are you looking for? What are you trying to do? And I was like, just this, just that. I'm waiting for this, but you know, it is what it is if it comes out. And then she's like, okay. And then she printed something out for me and handed it to me to look over. She gave me a slip of paper, even just that in of itself. I was like, oh, that's very hospitality based. That's nice, thank you. She's like, here's something to look over, because she noticed I was just sitting there waiting on somebody, yes, but I have an appointment time still. It's not like I got contact from the other person who was supposed to show me. It was just generally like, okay, well, you can just sit here. I'm like, yeah, I texted somebody to say, right. So basically she gives me a sheet of paper and I'm just like, oh, thank you. And she's like, yeah, we have like a few. I'm like, when she comes back, she'll give you the whole shebang. Didn't. Whatever. Gave me as much as she was willing to feel like giving. And that's the thing. I'm like, man, they don't make them how they used to. It's not even that. It's just that, I mean, I don't know if it's that. Because you know that people get into this job for the money, right? And People are always moving. That's always going to be something to do. You get the certificate and then you keep it pushing. But I'm just like, it's not even just that we can tell you don't have a passion. We're like, you don't even have the people skills to be in this field. Okay? Whether or not it's just like that moment or whatever. Because I'll tell you later. But I'm like, the people skills to be able to just at least put that to the side to be like, yeah, let me just, okay, you can look at this real quick. I'll be right back. I'll be back at your appointment time. Or just to manage your own time. Okay, well, if they're late, I'm like, if I were in that position, I would have handled it. I would have handled it better. I would have handled it better. And that's just as somebody who understands how to do customer service, at the very least. Um, and that's not even on like it has to be top notch. It's not like this is the 20s. It's just communicate. Communicate and be a person. Be a person that is at least trying to get money out of me because that's what you're freaking doing anyway. So it's just weird that this wasn't the first time. It's not going to be the last. And it's just interesting how many specifically leasing agents that you deal with that are just like, you don't even, are you good? Like, maybe you should take a break today. And even if you're just chasing the bag, maybe you should take a break today because you can't even, I don't even know what's going on. But as far as just making sure you're not just dismissing potential clients, keep your wits about you. So basically, I'm sitting there still waiting on my person. It gets to the point where I'm just like, all right, I'll call. They pull up right on time during our talk, but the messages they got from me, they were just like, okay, understood. I didn't get theirs, but it was just like, all right, so whenever she comes back, I'm like, if I don't just bail right now. And then I let the other person know that handed me the piece of paper. I was just like, yeah, if they're late, I don't mind starting, but also they did just get here. And she was just like, okay, I'll like let her know. She like was gonna text her. I'm like, yeah, I texted this number, but I never got anything. And she's just like, oh yeah, that's not. Oh yeah, that's not our. It's not our actual thing. It's just an automated thing. And I'm like, okay. But even in my head, I'm just like, so there was no way I was ever gonna be able to reach her anyway, because I never got like a real point of contact until after we toured, and even then, it wasn't. It was one of those like automated again, where it was just her name, I think. But yeah, I was just like, okay, cool. I'm like, mental note again. I'm like, they really don't keep in touch with their people, and every time I saw somebody leave or try to leave, you had to have some kind of access. I don't know, it was sus. It was suspicious as frick. I was like, okay, this is not safe, nor is it at least attentive. And I don't really feel like this is a bad idea already. So I'm just like, let me just, you know. But then I was just like, should I bail or should I check it out? And I'm like, I already know I'm not going to get it, but let me not waste her time completely. Let her, I waited, and it's my appointment time. Might as well just look at it. Really feel like if it's worth the funds that it was. And it was. And that's not good. Maybe a little bit less. When my person came, we hang in. He he came up to the door, and I was just like, hold on, they gotta buzz you in. She sat us down. She finally came back, and she was just like, after her text, I guess, and she was just like, okay, well, I was like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, this. She's like, here's your IDs, yada yada. She's like, all right, you can follow me over here. So we just went in our car and followed, and then I gave them the rundown. I was just like, so this is what I'm dealing with. This is what we got. Mind you, I guess it was another woman she was working with. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go get him. And then the person that she was working with, I don't know, they just seemed like they had their own thing going on. So when I'm coming back, I'm just like, okay, let's do this real quick, I guess. She was just like, let's do this. And we drove down to the unit, and at first I was just like, dang, did she leave us? But no, she didn't. I don't think so. No, that was a different person. That was a different person with a similar attitude. um, and essentially, what happened? What happened? So, yeah, so essentially it was just like, okay, if you can tell, I'm twisting this in improper, like they're not all the same way, and that's because I messed up really, really bad. I can't go back, not professionally right now by my one sum, so we're just doing it as we can. Don't worry about it. Trying to even see how that did it. Really want to watch that K-drama. When the phone rings. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even turn anything on, girl. I'm just off the dome. Off the dome, and then I guess I'll take a break to eat. If not after this set, I have like 2 more than just after this one. If I feel like I'm on a roll, I'm gonna take a break to eat. If I don't bring y'all along with me, then I'll just come back afterwards. I cannot. You know what? Yeah. That's where it gets confusing. I try to go off of this bottom, but period. Okay, man, come on through. Okay, yeah. So let me get back to the tea, girl. Let me get back to the tea. I'm glad you're still here. I won't blame you if you leave. I'm just gonna be sitting here. I am, yeah. So if I take a break to eat, I will let you know if I'll bring you along or if I just feel tired. But after that eating, I'm probably gonna be talking less, and likely just gonna be having the show on the background. And then I'll let you know when I take a break to go do laundry, because we gotta do that too. All right, so back to the story. Basically, she drove us down to the unit, and I was just like, okay. I was giving the rundown. I was basically telling the person I went with everything, all the tea. I was just like, we're probably just gonna zoom right through this. I'm not trying to stay here too much. Just given the vibe that I'm gonna get, I'm feeling like this is gonna be like something else. And I don't like the idea of living in a management that isn't even that crazy to get the money that they want from me. Like, you're not even trying to sell it to me right now. Like, anything. The amenity. We didn't even get to look at, like, beyond the unit. I think she just rushed us out so bad. And that's not the first time I've done it with, like, somebody else just rushing us, but it's a bad look among y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. Alright, so, I was just like, okay, let's just zoom right through this, because yada, yada, yada. When it came down, she opened the door. I had, like, my own, I was just like, yeah, I had my own things about it, too, so I can't even, I'm not gonna say I was, like, destined from the start. I was like, I could have really done this. I could have, just off of you being nice. But, I mean, you're representing a lot, so this was just more like a nail in the coffin, so maybe you could have swayed it. I don't know. I personally don't know, because I would never go back. I would never go back. Not for anything. Ugh. Maybe if, not even just like if she wasn't there, it's more like, this is a representation of everything. I'm like, I can't make this make more sense. This is a red flag. Red flag after red flag after red flag. So we go in. It's small, but the person I went through noticed too that it was really outdated as far as just amenities and stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's not expensive at all. It's not expensive at all. So I'm not too pressed about too many things, but yeah, that is That's something too, because if you're gonna advertise at least a few things, then you're gonna want to make sure it's at least, you know, well up to date. Um, as far as